So there's two types of people when it comes to bulking. There's the people who are so scared to bulk, so they start coping by saying main gaining is the way where you stay the same body fat and gain muscle, and they've barely made any progress. And there's also the second type of people who just go on dirty bulks and okay, they gain muscle, but they also get fat. And here's the thing, both of them are actually wrong. And in this video, I'll share with you the proper method to do it. Because, bro, I used to be skinny fat and I've made so much progress. And plus, I've made mistakes. So in this video, I'll share with you the proper method on how to actually bulk. Okay? And now, before we get into that, first thing, let's talk about why most bulks actually fail. So I got a couple of reasons. Okay. Number one is that you're gaining the weight too fast, which basically leads to you gaining too much fat too fast while barely gaining muscle. So you have to end the bulk because, like, now you just look fatter, right? And the second thing is that you're not training properly, which I'll cover in the proper way to bulk. And thirdly, you're not committing to the bulk, which basically means that when it comes to bulking, you're not bulking for long enough because you must understand that, bulking and all building muscle is like a slow process. Okay, it's not very quick, right? And lastly, being scared of gaining fat, so you avoid bulking and go the main gaining route where you apparently stay the same body fat and gain muscle and you barely make progress, right? So, bro, here's the way on how to actually bulk properly without making any of the mistakes that I just mentioned. Okay, and this method will be split into three things. Okay, so the first thing is like the mindset. First of all, about the mindset is that you must understand bulking properly is a long-term thing, right? Because building muscle and all is like naturally slow, right? So you're gonna be in this for the long term, okay? A couple of months at least, okay? And the second thing in the mindset is that fat gain on the bulk is normal. Like, you shouldn't be scared of gaining fat and all, but this doesn't mean you're gonna get fat. No, no, no. We're gonna do it in a way that you're minimizing fat gain and maximizing muscle gain, okay? So now this takes us to our second point in the method, which is the diet. And this is what, actually makes it or breaks it, right? Because you could easily mess it up if you don't fix the diet. So the diet is like, what actually controls how much fat you gain and all, right? So I'm gonna share with you like the diet in a bit, but you must understand that the way, like the perfect way, is like to minimize fat gain while maximizing muscle gain, right? And of course, in a perfect world, it would be muscle gain with no fat gain, right? But life is not like all, sunshine and roses, right? So basically, the way is like to minimize fat gain and maximize muscle gain. And here is how you're going to be doing it. Number one is like, it depends on how much weight you're going to be gaining. And here's the secret, you're going to be gaining 1 to 2 kilograms for the whole month. Let me repeat myself. You're going to be gaining 1 to 2 kilograms for the whole month. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but this is how you do it. This way, you're maximizing muscle gain while minimizing fat gain. Okay? And if you gain more than that, the more you gain, the more it will be fat, right? And now, quickly, 1 to 2 kilograms is basically 2 to 4 pounds for the pounds people. And now, let's talk about the third thing, which is the training. And now, the training is pretty important because let's say you're bulking without training, you'll just get fat, right? And it's pretty important to actually do it properly. So with the training, I have three tips for you. Number one is the intensity. The intensity is basically how hard you go in each set. So most people advise you to keep 2 to 3 reps in reserve, or like 1 to 2 reps in reserve, or whatever, because it's too much stress on your central nervous system. But they're all wrong, because what theoretically is best is not what actually works in the real world. My advice might sound a bit controversial, but it is what actually works, which is basically going to failure on every single set. But here's the catch, you're going to go to failure on every single set, but you're going to stay in your good form, right? So basically, let's say you're doing dumbbell bench press, okay? We're doing the set and everything. You're reaching your last reps. And now you reach a point where, like, you just can't. You're done. You reach failure. You can't do another rep. Don't break your form. Don't do that. That, like, if you just can't do another rep while staying in the good form, that's it. Your set has ended. Okay? And that's it for the intensity. And the second thing is the volume. How many sets you do, basically. Do enough sets. There has been this trend of doing low volume, and it's been like so trending of doing low volume training style. That does not work. People usually do low volume when they're on holidays trying to maintain their gains and all. But you want to build muscle and build a good amount of muscle, like, to maximize your muscle gain. You're not gonna do low volume and you're not gonna do high volume. You're gonna do enough volume. So it's gonna be something in the middle. Okay? And now here's the third tip with the training, which is progressive overload. I think you might probably know what progressive overload is, but here's how you can do it properly. Basically, you're gonna choose a rep range for all of your exercises. Let's say, for example, 8 till 12 reps. Okay? You're gonna find a weight that you can do between 8 and 12 reps. Okay? So you start with this weight. Let's say whatever exercise you're doing, okay? In this exercise, you can do whatever weight and you can do 8 reps of it. Okay? So now let's say you're doing bicep curls with 15 kilogram barbell curls, right? So you go and you start with 8 reps. Next session or next week, push to 9. Like every session, you should try to push harder than last time. So you're pushing it to 9 reps, 10 reps, 11 reps until you hit 12 reps, which is going to happen like in a couple of weeks. When you hit 12 reps, what do? You increase the weight. And now you're doing 17.5 for like 8 reps. And you keep doing this whole system for all of your exercises, starting with the rep range and slowly increasing it until you hit the end of your rep range and then increase the weight. And bro, this is how you actually bulk properly. Okay? And if you're serious, I do have a premium community where you get the low-key jacked course, which covers everything in depth: training, bulking, cutting, and my own personal methods, plus weekly calls with me and more. You get all of that in the first link in the description. Check it out. And other than that, I wish you the best, brother. Like, subscribe, all of that. I'll see you in the next one.